The following is general advice only and should not be construed as accounting, legal, or any other professional advice. The details of your situation are fact dependent, and you are advised to seek the help of a competent professional. What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another action-packed edition of CPA Reviewed, the official podcast of number71.com. As always, I am your humble host, Jeff Elliott, a licensed CPA in the state of Kansas. Happy Wednesday to you. Today is August 14th, 2013. You know, my wife asked me, she said, now, if you say that you are a humble host, does that still make you humble? And the answer to that question is yes, dear. Speaking of yes, dear, I was one time we were in a Sunday school class at church, and it was like a marriage class, and or the topic was marriage, and everyone had to write down, or each spouse got to write down something on paper that they never want their spouse to say again. And then we had to burn it. And mine was, or the one that my wife wrote down for me was, yes, dear. Because I used to say it like, not, oh, yes, dear, but yes, dear. So I am no longer allowed to say, yes, dear. So anyway, that was a little random, unexpected tangent, another random unexpected tangent. If you read my email, and I have about 20,000 or so on my email list. Of course, not everyone opens it. Those of you with an email list, you know that not everyone opens your emails, but I have about 20,000 on the list. But I sent out an email last week, and I said, hey, this is my only email of the week, and here's some stuff on the forum, blog, whatever that you might be interested in. But I said that I'd be watching my kids. My wife was out of town. She took the baby with her because, as my 10-year-old said, I do not have any nursing possibilities. And so that's the biological term for that, nursing possibilities, in case you didn't know. But so I had 5 kids, ages 10 through 2, for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, but I emerged unscathed. No trips to the ER. I had to think of what I was going to do on a Friday and Saturday. I mean, there's only so many Netflix instant streaming shows that you can put on before you have to figure out something else to do. So what did? We went and bought a year-long family pass to the local children's museum. Children's Museum family pass to the rescue. Anyway, that's called creative parenting out there. Okay, well, on today's show, as you know, if you've been listening to the last couple of episodes, we've switched to another format where people call in. And on today's show, we have, 5 or 6 calls? I actually did like a 4-hour marathon. So I had 4 hours of calls. And obviously no one wants to listen to a 4-hour podcast. So today's show will be about 40 to 50 minutes of one of those sessions. And but I'm going to play it off like it's a live show. But shh, don't tell anyone. So what I'm going to do is okay, and up next it's Phil or Tony or whoever. But it's just our little secret. So actually up first is not Phil or Tony, it's Kurum.
My question for myself is, I find a regulation exam, I dread that. You know, like you were asking, if there was a couple areas in FAR exam that she wishes that weren't there, while I wish that whole reg wasn't there at all. So how do I overcome that? I keep going over and over this. It's like, I mean, not that it's just the fear. I mean, it's just, how do you suggest I get over this?
Have you taken reg before?
No, I'm afraid to even take it. That's what I mean. I mean, I'm trying to just study for it, and just the individual taxation section is just it makes sense when I'm doing the test. The practice multiple choice and stuff. Yeah, I'm doing them right. It's just fear. Any suggestion on how to overcome that?
Okay, so when you're going through individual tax, you said that you're.
It feels like everything, like when I'm dealing with like the IRA contributions, that section within the individual taxation, I'm going through that section. So I'll study that. I'll take notes. I'll do really good. And then the quiz part, I'll do really good. But then I move on to like the moving expenses. And after doing that, I go back to IRA contributions. It feels like I've totally lost everything that I had studied.
I hear you. Okay.
And I think it's the psychological factor of like getting, this whole reg thing scares, I guess.
What other exam sections have you taken?
Done FAR, audit, and BEC.
And did you pass?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you know how to study and you know how to pass, number one. Number two, when you're watching these videos, which video course are you using?
Roger.
Okay, that's right. You said you talked. Okay. Are you taking notes?
Yes.
You are. Okay. Well,
like me personally writing the notes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm doing that.
Okay. So it's like when you're watching the lecture over IRA contributions, like you said. Are you jotting down, little bullet point, little fact
points
nuggets
and everything? Yes.
Okay.
And then what I do is like I'll write down the bullet points, and things will make sense. And then I'm like, okay, I've grasped it. But then I move on to the next section. It feels like somehow the whole memory just erased everything about IRS.
Well,
so you have to restudy that. So it keeps going back and forth about the same thing.
Well, that's completely normal because, unless you work in like taxes every single day and all of that, you were going to forget stuff. And so you understand the concepts over the IRAs. Just periodically, you have to read through those notes again. Otherwise, you are going to forget about it. And it's a repetition. You keep going through it, and you keep building this knowledge base. So it starts out with individual tax and IRA contributions and kiddie tax and dependency requirements and all that stuff. And you just keep, as you take notes, you have to keep reviewing the notes. You have to keep reviewing. And so then by the time you get all the way down into like estate tax and trust and all that, and you've covered individual tax, corporate tax, partnership tax, property transactions, AMT, etc. You have this knowledge base built up, but then guess what? You got to then go into business law and ethics and professional responsibilities and all that stuff. So even when you jump into business law, you still have to keep studying what you learned in the tax area so that when you review, it just kind of builds up to this big crescendo and you just go and knock it out on exam day.
All right. And tried your ninja notes and I guess the flashcards and stuff. How do I, what are those? Just basically like a note section? Is it like, how is your course developed?
Well, it's It's like
Do you think that it will help me if I look for those notes?
Well, tell you what, I'll send you a free sample chapter. Well, actually, if you just go to another71.com and let's see where it is. It says
I think I did try that, and it says go to Facebook and like that, which requires me to make up a Facebook account. So, because I don't have one, so that's why I gave up on that.
oh, well, okay. In that email, just read down a little bit further, and there's the link. I was just that Facebook deal is like, hey, go like my Facebook page. By the way, here's the notes.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so
Um,
if you like the format of the notes, it's meant as like as a supplementary tool. So so you learn all this in-depth tax information, and then the Ninja Notes helps you to keep it together. Like it's not a CPA review book, but it helps keep it all together. And people have said that there's stuff in the Ninja Notes that their review course either doesn't cover or they barely cover, and I reinforce it. But anyway, bottom line, if you like the notes and find them helpful, then they can be an asset for you. And also, there's a free audio section and free flashcards too for you. I think it's over individual tax, so I think that's the free. So there you go. Individual tax is the free section, I think. So,
is it possible for you to resend that email? Because I think I deleted that by mistake when I saw that it.
Sure. Yeah. Tell you what, just email me and I'll just send you the files directly, so you don't have to mess with the extra stuff.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I guess it's I just need to get over the fear and just do it.
Well, yeah. You know what? You've already passed the exam that like everybody fears, which is FAR. I mean, you've already passed it. I mean, Reg is tough, but people fear FAR more than they do Reg. So, how
much of the Reg exam is individual taxation? I mean, like, is there like a percent?
Yeah, I don't know exactly, but I want to say it's somewhere between like 13 to 18%, somewhere in there. So
okay.
So we'll say 15% individual tax.
Okay.
Give or take. But I
All
think,
right.
yeah. So, try that out and shoot me an email, okay?
Okay, I will do that. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling. And next on the line is Martha.
Jeff, I got you. How are you? This is Martha speaking from Washington, D.C.
Hey, Martha.
How are you?
Well, I'm doing excellent. How's life out there in the big city?
The weather is nice. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I can't believe I'm talking to you. Is this really Jeff?
No, this is his twin brother.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Okay, Jeff. I said I'm doing regulation on the 27th of August. I don't know. I'm just overwhelmed. Any technique?
Well, what materials do you have, Martha?
Wiley. I'm using Wiley, but my friend told me about you. So like, I'm always on your blog, just listen to all the blog, and I just signed up and I saw this. Then I said, okay, I'm gonna call. I listened to the previous caller. They said you're giving out the gold Excel. So I called. I said, can I have it?
Oh, to about the CPA Excel gold medal deal.
Yes. I heard you just gave it out because I was listening to the conversation earlier. I'm like, okay, I'm going to call Jeff if I can get that. Yes, I'm using like straight Wiley, the Wiley Test Bank, the Wiley book.
Yeah. I wish I could give out an $1,800 course to everyone I talk to.
No, I know you cannot.
If you were interested in CPA Excel, I can save you some money. But okay, so you have the Wiley book and the Wiley Test Bank?
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right. And so what's your approach? You are reading through the book and then working the questions?
Yes, then I downloaded your schedule how to start at the 1 hour in the morning, at lunchtime, and the 2 hour in the evening. I've been doing it for this past 2 weeks.
What other sections have you taken, Martha?
Regulation. I'm just doing regulation for now.
Okay. Is reg your first exam?
Yes, that's my first exam.
Okay. Do you like reading from the book, or?
It's really bad and boring.
Okay, that's what I mean, most people feel that way. I mean, any accounting type book is a tough go if you're going it by yourself. I mean, it's sensory overload. There's so much information, and so I think you might find it helpful if you did get a review course of some sort.
Yeah, I did. I have Jaeger.
Okay.
Jaeger, but it's 2012 Jaeger CD that I have.
That.
So I've watched like all the videos on that.
That should be fine. Okay, so I mean, the 2012 videos, some numbers have changed. So like, do you happen to have the Ninja notes?
No, I do not.
Okay.
But it told me it's excellent. So like, I'm checking like, are you guys selling the Ninja notes or?
Yeah, but if you go to another 71, you can get a free section of notes. But I was telling the previous caller, I think it comes with individual tax. But and I actually think I need to update my demo. the Ninja notes are current, but I don't think my demo is, so I need to update that. But my whole point in that was that the 2012 Jaeger videos will use the 2012 number. So like the section 179 number has changed. It's now 250,000 and 5 million. I'm drawing a blank there, but anyway, that's changed. The kitty tax number changed from 950 to 1,000.
Yeah, that I usually go to irs.gov to get the updated. I know gift tax changed to 14,000.
Yep.
Yeah, so all that.
Okay. So if you know what the updated numbers are, other than that, reg didn't change, and so use those videos. How far along those videos are you?
I'm done with the videos.
You done?
I'm ready now.
Good. Oh.
Yeah, I'm done with the videos.
Okay. Now, why are you reading?
Why? I don't know. I just I don't believe myself right now.
Okay. So you have about 4 weeks.
4 weeks, yeah.
4 weeks.
I have about 4 weeks.
Okay. For the next 2 weeks, okay, when you were watching your videos, did you take notes?
Yes, I did. I took notes.
Okay, good. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to now Jaeger comes with like assigned multiple choice questions in the Wiley book. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Have you worked those questions?
Yes, I did work some, not every one.
Okay, I want you to work every assigned question in the Wiley book. So maybe you open up the book and tear out the answers, and then slide it in to the questions. That way you can do question, like, let's say question 1, and then look immediately to the answer explanation for question 1. So it's right there. You
I don't know. Your phone is breaking.
My phone is breaking up?
Okay, now I can hear you. It was breaking up.
Because I'm like dialed in through the computer. So.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, you can hear me okay?
Yes, perfect now.
Okay, so work all of the Jaeger assigned questions in the Wiley book, and then jump over and do every question in the Wiley test bank over the next 2 weeks, or as close to it. Then your final 2 weeks, rewrite all of your notes.
Okay.
And while you're working those questions in the book in the test bank, get out a legal pad and take more notes.
Okay.
So let's say you work a question, you work questions over individual tax, and you have notes. Combine those with your individual tax notes from the videos, like rewrite them and combine them, and then your final week, just work topic specific sets of 20 multiple choice questions, and work backwards from your weakest area to your strongest. So let's say your weakest area, you know that you're weak in like
depreciation is my weakest.
What is?
Depreciation. I'm not strong on that.
Depreciation, okay. So like makers and all that?
Yes, because I have your audio. I'm listening to it right now on the stop, forward, rewind. It's everywhere.
Okay, you have the Ninja audio?
Yes, I have your Ninja audio.
Oh, cool. How do you like it?
Oh, it's good. It's good. It's helping me because it's like it pinpoint what I want to hear. I don't want I used to have Becca audio. It's just too much, overwhelming. But yours, it pinpoint like the things that I don't understand. You break it down and you be like, let me repeat this again. It's like, okay, I'm going to repeat it till you get tired and you will understand it. Like I was having issue with like adjusting basis, but the way you break it down on the audio, I really understand it.
Oh, cool. Okay, well that's good to hear. And so start with your weakest area first. So like depreciation makers, I can't remember what chapter that would be in, but a lot of people struggle with property transactions, like kind exchanges.
Well, with your audio, now I understand it.
Oh, really? Okay. Well.
Yes, like with your audio towards me, I take like each line, I take note of each of your line that you say. And with that, I think I listened to that chapter about 5-7 times. Then I read the book, I understand it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's excellent. Okay. Well, cool. So whatever your weaker areas are, work backwards to your stronger areas, and then and all that time continue to be reading your notes. You know, you have this killer set of notes that you put together, and I think you'll be good to go on exam day.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Jeff.
Well, thank you. It's been nice speaking with you, Martha.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Bye. Okay, next up is John, and he is taking auditing.
Hi, Jeff. My name is John, and I just had a few questions. Can you hear me?
I can. Hey, John, how are you?
Doing great. I just had a few questions. Almost done with my CPA. I've taken 3 sections. I just have audit left, and I've been having a little bit of trouble with like research, the research questions. A lot of times I find like a few similar ones, and I just want to know how much, like, do you know how much it's worth, like the research tab, and if there's any like tips out there in finding stuff for that?
I think, and I don't know this for sure. I think someone said that one of their instructors said that if you have 2 research tabs on your Sims, one of them is pre-test. I don't know if that's true or not. It sounds true, but my number one tip for research, and there's really no way for any study software to really replicate exactly what the AICPA is going to do with their research bank. And so what I would do is I would go, John, have you gone to the AICPA.org section that has the sample tutorial?
I haven't done those sample tutorials, but I've been using some other softwares, and they have like Becker I've been using, and they have sample questions with research.
Gotcha. If my number one piece of advice would be go to the AICPA sample deal. I mean, it's not a full exam. It's just a few multiple choice questions and then like a sample sim. But within that is the research component, and it mirrors what you'll actually see on exam day. And so if you can navigate that, you should be fine.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times what I find is when I put in like the keywords, like I'll have to search through like 5 or 6 or 8 until I get something decent. like I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but I would imagine most people probably do. Is you put in the keywords and then it's not one of the first few coming up. You got to sift through a bunch of them to find something decent.
Yeah, when I was taking the exam, I had a situation where I knew what section it was in, but for the life of me, I could not find it in the research materials, and I panicked, and I just ended up. I don't quite remember if I left it blank or if I just hit an answer and hit insert or whatever it is, but I think it is common to not find your answer right away, but the key is to be able to navigate it before exam day. That way there's no learning curve when you're actually inside of the exam.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. And I'm very inspired by your story. How many times you sat for it and went through the exam and got it done. It's real amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, my deal was I wanted to pass the CPA exam, but I didn't want to study. So breaking news, you have to study. But once my wife was like, all right, either you study or we're done. No more Madden for you. And I was like, okay. And then I ended up, passing each part after that. But yeah, I had some growing up to do.
Mm-hmm. I've been studying for about a year now, pretty much straight with some breaks. But I'm not working full time, so I'm able to put in a lot of hours, and it's been like a marathon just getting through it. Auditing is my last one. I've already gone through the material a few times, but it's still like the grasp. I just don't have it 100%, or not even close. I feel like auditing is kind of like a lot of information, it's a lot of detail, and it's also it's not like there's so many tricky questions and answers in there. It's just I feel it's different from all of them. Reg is kind of like reg and FAR. They're kind of like black and white.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. Like auditing is very conceptual, and whereas like you said, FAR is black and white. I mean, there's FAR and reg are just straight up rules. Auditing, there's some subjectivity to it, and so auditing is your last one. What section or what materials are you using?
I'm using Becker. I've been using, and I attended some of one of their live classes as well. They have a fast pass also. I did that. And I have also their like flashcards and some of the other stuff. I did some work for them, I did some marketing for them, so they caught me one of their programs, which was good, which worked out nice, especially because I'm not working full time, so a company's not paying for my courses. Right.
Well, John, I was going to give away a 10-point combo light, and so I'm going to give that away to you, okay, to help you with your final.
Oh, wow, section. That is awesome. I just had one last question. Auditing for 2013 after July, I know there have been some changes in the exam, and I did see you had like a 5-minute video on that.
Yep.
The changes that go into effect. But what I recently heard from one of the professors that I was doing the review course with was that for 2013 we're going to be responsible for the old stuff and the new stuff because AICPA hasn't decided. They said that for until 2014 they're not integrating the full change, but companies still have the option to do both. I just want to know if you could expound on that.
Yeah, and so the companies that would be affected by this are non-issuers. Issuer stuff to follow the PCAOB standards, but essentially for auditing exams, July and beyond, what people should do is understand the pre-July, understand everything pre-July. So the old way of doing audit reports and everything, and then hopefully your review course. Of course, I'm sending you the 10-point combo, so I break it out. There are some significant differences. The way that the Clarity Project, like the structure of the audit reports and the management assertions and everything. So know the old way, and then just just know the changes, and that's the easiest way to do it. And, the doing it both ways could extend into 2014. They haven't come out and said. So, but for people taking July or exams after July, so I wouldn't sweat the clarity changes. Just know the differences.
Know the differences. Okay, so focus more on the old stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So like on the Ninja Notes, which comes with the 10-point combo, the very first chapter I've added in there are the clarity standard changes, and it's like 2 pages of bullet points. Like instead of this, it's this. So instead of GAAP, it's the applicable financial reporting framework, etc. So.
So you have it. You stress the old way in your 10-point combo. You stress the old way, and then you have, I guess, the changes in there.
Yeah, because the Clarity Project didn't just redo the way the auditing is done. Everything is still pretty much the same, except for a few key areas. One of them being the audit reports. So the audit report has changed in this way, and it just spells it out. But other than that, audit risk is still the same. Detection risk is still the same. It's understanding internal control and how it affects your substantive testing still the same. So.
Okay, great. And should I shoot you an email for that?
Yep.
That 10-point thing.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate making the time, and really appreciate you throwing in that 10-point combo there. All right, and thanks so much. I really love your website and the posts on there. It's one of the most useful, CPA information that I came across with finding stuff. It's really great.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being a reader. Thank you for calling, and yeah, shoot me an email, man.
All right, great. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, John.
All right, bye.
All right, Edvin is also taking auditing.
Yeah, Jeff?
Yes.
I had 2 questions. One, I've studied for audit in January time before this new law came out, and I went through the 2012 Becker book and did the whole highlighting stuff, but I didn't get approved through the board until by the time I got approved was after July because I had to take an additional class. And now I got the new book for audit, and I'm studying for audit again basically. And I wanted to know what I'm basically. I put a date for August 26th. I've gone through all the whole old book and did all the highlighting, and what I'm doing now is just basically going page through page and the stuff that are new, look different in Becker, highlighting. I just want to know, you think I should just re-highlight everything in the new book, or just go through the old book, or
I am not a fan of highlighting at all.
I read that.
I mean, okay. So like chapter 1, you go through and highlight what you do. Are you
right? Yeah.
Are you honestly gonna go like when you're reviewing? Are you honestly gonna go back through the book and look at it page by page several times?
I mean, I do skim through it. So whatever things are a little bit highlighted or written, I write in red and stuff, it pops out. But as opposed to just the page being blank. So things are when it's a little messy, it's things pop out more. But I mean, I could do that with my old book because it's already all messy and everything's in there. But I'm just thinking the new additional stuff. I mean, I know everything's important in the book because questions are asked from things that aren't highlighted or are highlighted. So I don't even know if the highlights make a difference.
Okay, so do you have a 2013 post-July course?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I bought that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So why would you go back through the old material?
What, the book?
Yeah.
Because the book, because I've already highlighted everything. So I just want to know just go through if I should just go through the old because if I go it takes time to highlight stuff. I mean. Yeah. I don't know if I should.
Okay. Even when people score a 74, I tell people to go back through their entire review course again. Because today, you wouldn't score 74. If you went back in, you'd score 60 today.
Right.
So you have to build up to that 74 and then some. So I would just throw that 2012 book in the trash, and I would go through your 2013 course from start to finish, and instead of highlighting, I'd pull out a legal pad and start writing.
Write down notes in the book instead of highlighting the stuff.
Absolutely.
So like whenever the teacher says like highlight this, highlight that, I should just like ignore it and then just like write notes instead, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to copy.
Like
you don't have to copy verbatim from the book, but write down what the essence of what the highlighting is saying.
Right. Get a thing like that, and then what do you suggest also? Because sometimes I'm sitting in the library and the questions take forever. I could be sitting in front of the book for like not in front of the book, in front of like the questions, like, and just like stare at it like and read the questions and like bunch of time, and it's just not, it's not digesting, because like I go through the questions so slow and they take forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's normal. So like it takes you an hour to go through 20 questions or less, or
right. Sometimes like sometimes I'll be in front of questions, and there's so many questions I don't even know how like people. I just go through like the questions. Sometimes like I'm more concentrating, going through questions a little quicker. But sometimes like I can be on a question for like 5 minutes, like it's just not processing, or like so many questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what to do.
Break your question sessions into into sets of 20. And
do like 20 questions.
Yep. 20 questions, and have your legal pad out. So if you miss something, or if you know something but you might forget it later, write it down. Shut down your email, Facebook, etc. If you need to put on some music, like I used to study listening to Metallica.
Right, I put on some music too. Sometimes I go into the music. I put down sometimes classical music, so like whatever, and I just have a cup of coffee and like just drink coffee and like whatever. You think like sleeping more or less makes a difference, or getting like 8 hours of sleep, or like let's say I'll get up earlier and get less sleep, or work on it. You think you know anything like that? You have any suggestions, or like you just?
Well,
I'm just trying to get the best out of my time.
Taking the exam is not the time to get optimal sleep. I mean, it's just not. So are you going to get eight hours of sleep? No. But if you study until, okay, what time do you have to leave for work in the morning?
I'm just, right now, I just put I'm putting everything into this. So I'm literally not doing anything else, and I just want to pass this audit by August 26th. So I'm just trying to do whatever is possible.
Okay. What time, like each morning, what time do you leave for work?
To go to study?
Oh, are you?
I'm not working. I'm just. Yeah, I don't work. I'm just.
Okay.
Just putting in everything, whatever it is, just studying.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, essentially, what you need to do is treat studying like your full-time job. I guess there's a reason why you can't get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, because you're just studying full-time, but treat it like a job. Like, get up every morning, leave the house, like go to a coffee shop, go to the library, like physically leave the house. Don't have Sports Center on, while you're studying and stuff like that.
And then while doing questions, do them 20 at a time or something, and then read the book. And you think, how many times do you think I should read the book or whatever? Just go through the book and carefully, and then do the questions, stuff like that.
You have the video lectures, correct?
Yeah.
Don't read the book then.
Just don't read the book. Just go through the video lecture.
Well, I mean,
because the video lecture skips a lot of stuff. They just they do yes and no, whatever, here and there. So it doesn't go through everything. Sometimes I see questions being asked, and on random things that weren't they're in small little things that weren't even highlighted or mentioned. And the questions are weird. They're so random. Oh my, I don't even know sometimes where these questions pop up. You have to it's so hard, especially in what I also did was I was studying after audit, I was studying for I don't know if I did the right thing or not, but after audit, since I was waiting for the board, I started going through financial. So I just went through the whole financial book without doing the questions because I was so nervous about financial because my financial is not so good. And then I just went through the book with lectures and highlight and go through the material to see what's going to be tested. And then I was going to I went through the beginning to study for the questions again and would do it with the questions. And I saw that, like, it's so difficult and I was getting, like, so, like, depressed and stuff. So I just said, okay, fine, I just need to pass the test. I'm going to go to audit, do it, pass it, and then I'll go back to financial. I mean, what do you think?
Well,
yeah, did you say that? Or?
Well, I mean, I think taking auditing right now is a good idea because right now they just rolled out the clarity standard into the exam, and so historically they start they don't test new stuff real hard, and so you're taking auditing at the perfect time. But
you know what's going to be changing for 2014? Or
I don't know that, and normally they announce like changes at their August meeting with the providers. So I'm sure we'll be hearing about that. But I don't know if most Becker students read the book or not. You might ask on the forum. I mean, that's kind of the point of a really expensive course is to watch the videos because anyone can read the book. But anyway, but whatever you feel like you need to do. So you watch the videos and take notes and then read through maybe it is beneficial to like read through the chapter and take notes and just be real thorough with the process. But you're studying full time, so you have the time to do a more thorough review than most people do.
Right.
So
I should go through the book a little more and do the questions. Also focus on questions a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
focus more on questions than in book.
Yeah, I mean, questions are what will save the day on exam day. It's because you take the concepts and put it into a scenario, or it's exam application, and that's where you learn the material.
Right. I see. Right. So you have to have something to play with, like read the book a little, but like also do the questions to know how to apply it and stuff. I guess that's what I've been trying to do.
Yep.
But I see. So and then how much you suggest? I see. Okay, fine. So I'll just try the best, and then afterwards, do you think I should go? I guess I'll just go for full force. Do you think there's any like I should take regulations before BEC or anything? I mean, I'm going to take FAR next probably, but does BEC have a little more to do with the other stuff or regulations, or does it make a difference?
Well, there's some overlap between FAR and auditing.
Right.
Obviously, there's some overlap
right.
between FAR and Reg because of deferred taxes.
Right.
And BEC is just kind of out there.
Right.
So yeah, I would take FAR next.
Right.
But
and how much time should I put in? How much time people put in? I guess it depends, but like put in a couple months, I guess.
No more than 8 weeks. I'd shoot for 130 hours.
No more than 8 weeks. Why do you say no more than 8 weeks?
Well, because people will take 3 months and study for FAR, and that's way too long because they forget what they studied in week one. Like 7 to 8 weeks is optimal. I mean, it's all the time to get through all the videos, do all your multiple choice questions,
right.
rewrite your notes, review,
right.
et cetera, et cetera. So, 100 to 150 hours is reasonable.
Right. Right, so that's fine. Thank you very much. I love your website. I'm always on it, and you take advantage of all your stuff you send me.
Oh, well, thank you. What's your first name again?
Edvin. Edvin.
Edvin. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Edvin. I appreciate the call, man.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Take care, bud.
All right. Bye. Peace.
Sarah is next, and she is 1 week out from Reg.
Hi. My question, I'm up to my last one, Reg, and My question is basically, I haven't really been focusing on Sims. I have a week left before my test, and I've just been doing multiple choice and all that stuff, but everyone keeps on freaking me out that the Sims on reg are, like, impossible. And I hate practicing Sims because I just feel like they're so time-consuming and, there's no real chance that you're even going to get something similar like that on the test.
Yep.
So the question is really, like, how much time in my last week should I be doing Sims, if at all, and that type of thing.
Well, I've always felt like if you understand the concepts, then you're ready for a sim. If you have the Section 179 deduction and phase out memorized, then if you see that in a sim, then you know it. You might, Sarah, you might practice a few sims, but
I've done like a couple, like probably like 10 or so, but not that I do so great on them, but I just kind of feel like some people say like they've done all of the sims in Becker and Wiley and then redo all of them. Like that's just like seems like
that's crazy.
Years to do that.
Yeah, you know what? I
don't know. Like
probably the best thing that you could do is go to the AICPA website and do their sample tutorial. So that you practice doing the research component.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've used it for fair and audit, so kind of familiar with that. But I was just wondering like if I should really be like wasting time the last week on just doing random ones or not.
As far as doing random simulations?
Yeah.
No, I mean, okay, you have 1 week left. What's your nightmare topic on exam day?
I don't know. I feel like everything's kind of like scares me when it comes to Sims, but I feel comfortable with like individual taxation. I guess like corporate tax would probably scare me the most. I think it just gets scary when you have like a bazillion things going on and it's just like so you don't even know where to start. Those are always kind of like freak you out. But
yep. Okay. I don't know. Do you have a set of study notes that you've taken?
Yeah, I have the Ninja notes.
Okay, so yeah, the Ninja notes. Keep reading through the Ninja notes as many times as possible. So in your downtime, at the dentist, at the doctor, before you go to bed, et cetera, at your desk, do that. Now, business law, people forget that business law is pretty significant for reg. Have you been putting in the time?
I mean, with I started with Becker, and then I felt like I kind of like memorized the questions, so then I switched to Wiley, and then I felt like, wow, Wiley had so many more questions on business law. So once I started with Wiley, I feel like much more comfortable with business law after doing so many of the Wiley questions. So I mean, I'm not really so nervous about. I mean, like secure transactions that's always like I don't know why for me, but I kind of feel comfortable now with like commercial paper and that type of thing.
Okay.
Well, I heard that like with Sims, they're never on business law. Is that true, or they're only on tax?
I don't think officially the AICPA has ever said, but I think the general line of thinking is that reg sims are on tax, but
right.
Okay, so game plan for this next week. So start with corporate tax. Do a set of 20 multiple choice questions in the Wiley Test Bank in study mode. Don't do any final exams or anything like that. Do your sessions in study mode so that you get the instant feedback. And So you do a set of 20, you score a 60. Do another set of 20, you score a 70. Do another set of 20, you score a 75. That's just an arbitrary number. Then move on to your next topic, like property transactions and like-kind exchanges and 1231, 1245, 1250, et cetera, et cetera. Nail those and just keep going down the list and make sure you get through everything. But that's how you should prioritize. And then keep reading your Ninja Notes, and maybe before you do corporate tax in the Wiley Test Bank, read the Ninja Notes over corporate tax and just do that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Best wishes to you next week, Sarah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, that does it for this edition of CPA Reviewed. If you want to be on the show, you can be on the lookout for the next Ninja Hotline. I'll probably fire it up next week. And you can always shoot me an email. Go to another71.com, click in the upper right-hand corner, click Ask Jeff. And it will either appear in a future edition of CPA Reviewed, or I will answer it via Ask the Ninjas, or I'll just answer it through email. You can also send me an email, jeff@another71.com. Take care, everyone. Be good, and I will talk to you soon.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
See that? He's being funny.